And they join me now from Saint-Agathe, Quebec. Welcome to North Star of the Canadian Jewish News. It's nice to meet you.
It's great to be here.
Yes, likewise.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. And we're actually doing this interview a few days before Friday, because I know Friday you have a very busy afternoon going to various lakes and doing your pre-Shabbat services. Could you start, Rabbi, by telling our listeners a little bit about how the idea for these, is it called the Shabbat on the lake? How it got started?
Sure. So we've always tried to find programs that attract people outside of the synagogue. And what a greater way. We have lakes, so many lakes in this region, in this area. And so one of the programs that we started was to bring all of the boats together, give out challah, speak of the importance of Shabbos, speak about the importance of unity, of bringing communities together, and the idea of preparing for the Shabbat, of how Shabbat has kept us so special, the same way we have kept the Shabbat so special. And Shabbat Shalom is, of course, something that everybody is familiar with. And we coined the program called Shabbat Shalom, which became very popular.
Was this something that happened before the pandemic, during, like how many years back did you start this?
Well, we actually brought the boats and doing the challahs together after the pandemic, but we've been having other programs on the water throughout, I would say, close to 40 years. We used to do something called not flotilla, but flotilla, which means we would, again, pick a day of the week when we would bring all the boats together and daven mincha on the water. I would always do things to try to encourage people in a fun way to realize how our traditions are just so rich and could be so family oriented, and using the abilities of a recreation where we are to only enhance the traditions that we have as Jews.
No, let's talk about it's on the water on a boat. Is there anything halachically that you can or cannot do because you're on a boat as opposed to like in a shul?
So when it comes to this program, I really go with my tefillin, and I have to tell you that I don't have enough time because the energy on the boats are so strong and the people are just so happy to be there that they keep on asking me, Rabbi, come on my boat, let's put on tefillin. So I jump from boat to boat, and I actually try to bring help with me. We give out Shabbat candles. Like I said, we give out a challah to each family. Sometimes we can have over 200 people participating, 30 boats altogether. People sometimes come with their drones, and we get some beautiful, beautiful shots. It all depends on the lake itself. It's a beautiful, beautiful event. We look forward to it every Friday.
So you have any seasickness issues when you're trying to do your wrapped fill-in when the boat is rocking?
It's funny you say that. I'm actually a very good swimmer. So when it comes to that, absolutely not. And when you pray, you're supposed to shuckle. You're supposed to shake, actually. So it goes very well with the water when you're doing some prayer.
Do you need a permit from like the lake associations or even the local authorities to do this because of boater safety at all? How do you take care of that?
So that's very well. Good point. Actually, we try to notify the ones, the security on the lake, and tell you the truth, they actually come there to help us to make sure that everything is okay, and we're well anchored, boats don't drift, that we should be able to spend that hour of time, usually between 5 and 6, and it should be done in a safe and fun way.
Congratulations. That's quite a milestone. I want to ask about the specifics of the service. You said between 5 and 6. So in the summers, it's not a problem to do because it doesn't get dark till later. But like how late in the season can you go and how early can you start? Do you have usually when it gets too close and you have to stop?
So it's Fête Nationale. which is towards the end of June or mid-June, and it goes till like Labor Day weekend, which is the beginning of September.
You guys have your own boat to take you out there? How does that work?
So we used to. We used to have a boat, but no, we prefer always to join other families on their boats.
Okay,
Much
so
more fun.
yeah, let them worry about it, and you just get the lift with all.
That's
Well,
one
you
way
have
of
how
that's one
many
way of seeing it.
200s? You have 200 challahs you have to carry, right? Or they all come
Correct.
and get them later. Like, how does that work?
No, no, no. We bring them on the boat. We give them out sometimes in middle, and we don't tell them what to do. A lot of people just open their challah. Everyone loves challah on a Friday. The idea is go home to your families and go home with your family and celebrate the Shabbat. And if this challah can do something to enhance your table, that's why we're giving it.
Okay, so let's talk about what you can and cannot do because there might be other people in the Laurentians or maybe in, I don't know, Manitoba that have lakes that are doing something like this. But yours is specifically not a Kabbalat Shabbat. And you wanted
Correct.
me to understand
Correct.
that. So maybe explain
Correct.
why you chose not to do it
Sure.
as official Kabbalat Shabbat.
Sure. I know that it would be very spiritual to be able to, let's say, recite the Kiddush and um, to bring in the Shabbat on the boat and to have, let's say, a Shabbat celebration on the boat. It's problematic because Shabbat, with all of its beauty, has a sense of holiness, and that holiness requires us to refrain from principles of work and being on that boat and getting off the boat after with all the details of it definitely complicates it. And in many ways, it may even desecrate the Shabbat itself. So for that reason, we are very clear and extremely careful to assure that we go ahead and do everything that is a preparation for the boats, a preparation for the, we do everything as a preparation for the Shabbat, which means that it's just like going to a store and buying everything. We are not bringing in the Shabbat until we are in synagogue, and in our community till 7:30 p.m.
Okay, so it's more of a informal get together as opposed to a specific service with a little Jewish flavor and teachings, but you're not going to violate the halacha. That's the difference. Yeah.
That is correct. We will be very careful not to violate it, and also in a way to give anyone the perception of it having Shabbat.
Right. So this isn't a substitute for it. It's pre.
Exactly,
Understood.
exactly. And by the way, it's a big mitzvah to prepare for the Shabbat. So this itself has its own merit in doing something to prepare for the Shabbat.
Do you know if the idea has caught on anywhere else thanks to your spark?
So actually, yes, for sure. I do know of one specific community that during the COVID time, they initiated their own kind of a program that they have, and it's incredible bringing people together in that fashion. I think it's remarkable, and I can tell you that in other lakes where we have done it, but we don't do it weekly in one specific lake simply because we go from lake to lake. I know of a few where the members of that lake area have decided to do their own on a weekly basis. And there are so many people who participate that way. It just shows you how there is a strong sense of community to stay together and to incorporate it with traditions that we have as Jews.
It's beautiful. It sounds like there's a hunger for this.
Tremendous.
People go out on the boat, they water ski, but after October 7th, I think there's this hunger for being together. I've seen, maybe you noticed it too. Are more people coming out than you now had before?
Yes, as much as we're hungry on Friday for challah, I'd say the same thing. We're hungry for the traditions and the aspects of Torah and mitzvah, which really define us as Jews.
And Rabbi Simchani, did you want to add anything? Do you go to these things too?
I do, not always, but as often as I can, and it's always very beautiful, lots of fun. It's great to see everybody, and everybody enjoys it.
So you are the brainchild behind this Shabbat boat Shabbat. Is there a name for the event? Do you have a special name that you
Oh,
call it?
I just call it Shabbat on the lake or Shabbat sur le lac. And
Of course, because yeah, La Belle Provence. Yeah.
and we have our WhatsApp list of all the people on the lake who are interested in attending, and that's how I communicate with them. And it's quite easy to communicate with about 100 odd people, and they're all excited. I say 6 o'clock to be at a certain spot, and last weekend they were there at 6 o'clock, and a couple minutes later we were amazed how everybody's on time.
And you sit in the middle of the dock, like in a kind of a circle, or how do you guys assemble?
We
Describe
try
it for me. Yeah.
try to face each other and make it like a circle, but sometimes it's very hard to get it exactly the way you want it because it's windy and we're all tied together. But we have a buoy out in the middle of the bay, and many of us hook up to the buoy, and the other people hook up to the other people.
Do you want to tell us how you got the idea to get this started and when?
Yeah. So first of all, it goes back to March of the Living. And that was a program that I participated in so many times. And when I came back here, I had enjoyed the Fridays so much, where our Kabbalat Shabbat with the March of the Living Kids. I said, I can't live without that. I got to be able to find a way to do it. And I started it very small. I don't remember if it was 2020 or 2021.
During
And
the pandemic, anyway, it has to have been, right? In the
yeah,
summers. Yeah.
yeah. And it started off with just my boat, and I took a couple of people. And I love music, and I love putting together playlists. And I started off with one boat, and then it just grew. I invited some other people, and suddenly we could be 15, 16 boats on a Friday night with 10 people on a boat or 8 people, and it's amazing. And you just feel so good about it. And if you watched a little video that I put together this afternoon, it'll give you an idea of what goes on during the Kabbalat Shabbat.
All
But
right, let's see
honestly,
if I can
yeah,
watch it now. Actually, I can't on my phone, but let me see if I can watch it here. There we are. So the thing about there it is. The thing about your video that you're sending me. When was this taken?
those pictures,
Yeah.
oh, many of them were last summer, and some pictures from this summer.
So Howard, when you say Kabbalat Shabbat, this is an actual religious service with prayers and brachas and the whole wine and kiddush and everything, or do you not go that far because it's earlier in the day?
It's not a true religious service. I'll tell you what it is. It's a mixture of everything. We try to do an hour and a half to 2 hours. Yeah, yeah, it's very good. And the first 45 minutes, I play music that people can sing along with, dance to, and I keep working and improving the playlist. There's a lot of modern stuff that's on the playlist as well as old songs that many people have known for many years. And we do
And these
that
are
till
Jewish is it Jewish songs or not necessarily?
no, all Jewish songs, all Hebrew Israeli songs. A lot of like Omar Adam, a very new guy who's out there who's terrific.
Da 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 da
Yeah,
Tel Aviv. I know that.
I might start off with Tel Aviv to get people going. I don't sit down for 2 hours. I'm up there singing.
So this is like literally a dance party on the boats, and you're the DJ in a
Yeah,
way.
yes,
And you have
exactly.
loudspeakers on your boat? Is
Yes,
that oh,
yes.
okay? Not on your dock. It's on the boat.
On the boat. We're in the middle of the lake.
Okay. And what about the religious stuff and the challah
Okay.
and the juice? How does that work
Okay,
in?
so then we get to after about 45 minutes, we do our entrance into Shabbat, and we start with Lecha Dodi, and we have a great version of Lecha Dodi, and we all sing welcoming in the Shabbat. We would follow that with Shalom Aleichem, and almost everybody participates in welcoming in the Shabbat. Then we'll have somebody come up and do the prayers on the wine, and I try to pick different people all the time. And in the video, you see I picked two very young boys. You'll see that, and they came up and did it. And then we do the challah, the blessing, and then there's somebody on the boat. Either there's a rabbi on our lake called Rabbi Dini Lewidis, or there's other people that are very capable of delivering a Devar Torah. So there will be a Devar Torah, and I limit it to about 5 minutes. Nobody wants to sit and listen to a 30-minute speech.
Not especially if you're getting seasick too, rocking.
Yeah, I don't think too many people are getting sick. But we do about a 5-minute Devar Torah. Sometimes right after that, we'll do Kaddish, because there's often somebody who's in the middle of the morning and they want to do Kaddish. And then we'll go back to music. We'll sing music. I have a playlist that's, that continues on. And then we'll end with Hatikva. And everybody will stand nicely, and that's the end. Then the boats all just drift off and go home. The end.
Are these all people that are visiting or staying on the lake where you live, or are these people from all over the Laurentians that come, or both?
I'd say 80% are Ivry residents, but they all have visitors for the weekend. So they bring their visitors onto the boat. And like last week, there was a lady, mother of a girl who's on the lake. And she was here last year from Amsterdam. And she attended the service last year. And I saw her, met her during the week. She says, I can't wait to be at the service again. It was my highlight for the year. And I get that every week, because there's always guests from out of town. They have never seen this before, with all the boats getting together and with people singing so much. It just makes a big impact.
How far into the middle do you go of the lake?
Oh, now I picked a new spot that's only several hundred yards from my house. I used to move it around every week, and I tell people where I'm going to be. I found it easier by putting one buoy and all that. The only funny thing that happened last week, where my dock is about a couple hundred yards, so my dog is sitting on the dock and he hears all the music. He jumps into the water and swims out to the boat.
What kind of dog is it? What's his name?
His name is Cooper James, and it's a Labrador Retriever.
So he's got a Yiddish cup too.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my God. Now, I want to ask you, you mentioned buoys. What legal or permission challenges did you have to get in order to have this event on a lake? It must be some association that has to approve it, and maybe the police. I don't know, right? Transport Canada.
It's a great question. In the beginning, we moved it around so much, and every once in a while, somebody on the lake would complain that we made too much noise, and so the week after we'd move it somewhere else, and we didn't have too many complaints, but there would be maybe one a year. And then the mayor took it upon himself to get some approval from the city council and all that. So now we just go to the same spot. Nobody bothers us. And it's so impactful.
You don't have to have lifeguards and whatever and patrolling.
Everybody has to have life jackets on their boat.
But in terms of safety wise, they're okay with that buoy being there and you're all good. You don't take the buoy out after Shabbat, it's permanent.
But that's yeah.
Isn't the mayor Jewish?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought he was. I remember my family told me that.
Oh, Andre Ibgi. Yeah.
And so this service is not an orthodox service.
Absolutely
It's
not.
something you made up with help from the rabbi and your friends, right? Yourself. Right.
Yeah, a little bit it's less because we get guest performers every couple of weeks. I get Cantor Adam Stotland from Montreal. Do you know him? Okay. Cantor Ben Lolo. So Ben Lolo is coming.
He comes there? Wow.
Well, not only that,
He's Orthodox.
I know, and he is coming with his wife and family in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and they're renting a place. And the only thing I have to do is he can't stay on the boat and do the blessing of the wine because that's the real beginning of Shabbat. So when we get to that point, somebody puts him in their boat, brings him to his car, which will be right near the water, and he drives to where he's staying.
What do you think other people, let's say in Manitoba, that have cottages, and Winnipeg Beach, or even like cottage country in Ontario, Muskoka, where Jewish people hear about this, has other people copied your idea? Do you know, or they've shown interest,
Well,
or you think they should?
Well, now I think almost every lake up in the Laurentians does it. They've all come here and they've seen what we've done. And some of them have much bigger Jewish population than even us. And people have started in other lakes. But it's good to be the guy who started it. And if they copy you, it's all that better because we're affecting so many Jewish people. And I've got many Jewish people, many non-Jewish people on the lake who want to be at Shabbat on the lake. Somebody told me today, she said, make sure I'm on your WhatsApp. She is not Jewish. I put her on. And they come sometimes and they don't know the music, but they participate a little bit. And people tell me, invite me. I want to be there.
What does that mean to you when that happens?
First of all, everything about this program gives me goosebumps and good feeling because even though I'm doing it for 4 or 5 years, it's so meaningful for me.
Now, this must cost money, isn't it? You have to get the challahs. Do you get challah for everybody, or they all bring their own, or how does it work?
Lately, I'd say there's several people who make fresh challahs and bring them on the boat. And there's almost a competition between 2 or 3 people who make the most beautiful challahs.
So the local synagogue, Chabad synagogue, is doing it. Their Shabbot on the lakes, and they go around. And
Very
I
different.
wonder. I know it's different, but um, do you feel at all that it should be together, or you're in competition? I just wonder how you guys get along.
Karabach has come 2 or 3 times to our program, and he comes early because he has to leave. He brings challahs for everybody, and he has a lot of people do things, put tefillin on, and he does a longer Devar Torah than we would do, and then he leaves. So he doesn't stay for the music, almost very little, you know. But I know him well, and he calls me. He wants to come. We would try to work out a date when he could come.
You think there's room for all of this in the Laurentians, is what I'm wondering, for both of you guys.
It's a great program. It's a great look. Jewish people have an opportunity to celebrate on Shabbat, to do something on Shabbat. Now there are people that won't come on the boat and they have Shabbat dinner and they invite people, but we get a great turnout. Those that want, nothing's for everybody. So there are certain people that I cannot get. They won't come. But when they do come and they bring their children, the children make a big impact because many of them have gone to Jewish school and they know the songs. They even know the songs better than me. And then the parents come back again because they're bringing their children. Yeah.
You said that on the lake, some people, you got a little pushback earlier when we were talking earlier about this. Have you at all experienced any anti-Semitism or things that people are like, les Juifs, whatever, they're making noise? I'm just asking because I have to ask, especially after October 7th.
I know, but not really. I have not seen anything. I mean, maybe we had, like I said, there was noise some weeks. We don't want you in this area. Now that might have been, but we've not felt it. We do not feel it on this lake. There's multiple communities. There's a very Anglo community, and there's the Jewish community, and we get along very well.
Was this a lake that has always been a sort of Jewish summer resort, or was there pushback to like get Jewish property owners back in the day? I just wondered if there's any history about Ivry at all that we should know.
Ivry was a totally non-Jewish lake for a long, long time. And then the Jews came, and more they're growing on this lake, more and more all the time.
I ask because for our listeners who don't speak Hebrew, it struck me that of all the lakes in the Laurentians, Lac Kenui and all the French names, and Ivry means Hebrew. You know that.
Ivrit, yeah, I know Hebrew. Yeah.
And I wonder if you figured that out, because for
But it's
me, that's so symbolic.
There was
But
a
I'm
guy.
sure that's not what the name was. It was probably some saint or something, right?
Oh, it's a count from France, Count Ivry, Ivry, and it's actually recently somebody published a book on our lake, published a book about Count Ivry. So he came here, I don't remember, 200 years ago or something.
Well, I like to see it the other way, as it's stuff cut. It's even more meaningful because you're making Shabbat on a lake that has this Jewish sounding name, even though we know it's
Yeah,
really a French
it's
guy.
not really, but to have Shabbat, and people just look forward to it.
What do you do when it's terrible weather or bad weather or windy or dangerous? Do you cancel it?
No, I do it on my screened-in porch. Everybody's invited to my house, and we set out food there and all that. So you didn't talk about the food and on the boat.
You didn't tell me there's food. You said somebody makes challah. I didn't know there was a whole spread and like eggplant and herring. What do you have?
Everything. Every boat brings something for their boat, and then they walk around and share it. Egg rolls, little hot dogs and blankets, smoked salmon on black bread, all kinds of good appetizers.
You know, when this story gets out, you're going to have a lot of people wanting to sign up. I'm sure that I'll put a link to, they can reach me and I'll send them to you. But it's such an amazing story and an amazing idea. And, we need this.
Yeah, 100%.